Hey guys, it's Kim and I'm back with another painting update. This time I managed to finish a Illithid raiding force for games of Otherworld Fantasy. I still have maybe a model or two to still paint. I just wanted to share the progress just because I really had fun painting these models and my painting enthusiasm is through the roof. I am beyond excited to paint more, and I do promise after this little group of guys, I will start recording a lot more. Again, I didn't exactly know where everything was gonna go, but now that I feel like I'm getting into a certain groove of my painting style, I'm more prepared to start recording again. And I did make some new painting recipes for skin tones, for my bronze non-metallic, and then refining certain things. But let's go and see the Illithid in more detail. So here are the two Illithid guys. These models were produced again by Citadel in 1985 for the Advanced Dungeons and Dragon line. There were, I want to say, more than 7 variations of the Illithid. There were 3 main bodies, and then from the 3 bodies they made some alterations between the head and maybe some trinkets. These 2 models were a ton of joy to paint, and I leaned a lot more, I think you can tell, in blues, teals, and greens. I wanted to make sure the models had a little bit of that Oldhammer charm, but they still looked like they belonged to maybe a same clan or same same army. But the models are really lovely models. Let me grab some for close-ups. Hopefully the camera doesn't fail me today. But yeah, simply amazing looking model. It's very simple, and that's the beauty of it. Like, I do love the little I guess screaming face on his belt buckle. I don't know why he's holding a skull like Shakespeare, but really fantastic sculpt. And again, if you do like D&D, I do encourage you to maybe hunt down a model or two just to paint up. And painting wise, I had a ton of fun with the eyes. I did some teal gem effects as I felt like that fit with the Illithid. These guys pretty much capture other races and kind of grab their larvae babies and let them take over the form. So if you watch like Doctor Who and you know the Ood, these are like the fantasy Ood, but really lovely model. And I felt like they really did capture like the, I don't know, the arcane feel of these creatures. Let's go to the second one. This one was the actual first test model, and he has a ton of these screaming faces on his belt buckle. But I just like everything about this range of miniatures. With how simple the models are, they paint extremely well. And of course, you could spend 4 times the amount of time I do painting these guys, but I just love how with such maybe like an hour and like 10 minutes of effort, they can turn out this good. This is primarily why I like the Oldhammer miniatures, as not much effort for very nice looking models. But here are the 2 Illithid. I'm excited to play them for Otherworld Fantasy. There will be a lot of magic casting, and I had to just finish the warband. So up next will be the Dger. Here is the Dger from Citadel. Basically, they are an evil race of dwarves who live, I believe, in the Underdark. And based off of that knowledge and the artwork I saw, I tried to keep everything in this purple, gray, blue tone. But then to add some nice pop of color, I really went crazy with the bronze non-metallic. Now again, this whole project for my Otherworld Fantasy / Oldhammer models has been very cartoony, I guess is the best word to say. So everything I paint is very stylized, very unrealistic, but it's extremely fun to paint. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, all of these models are only taking an hour to 2 hours to paint up. For once, I really do feel like I'm getting into the painting zone. Enough about that, let's look at some close-ups of the dwarf, a really great looking model, and I had fun making the tongue blue. I thought with the tones he had, I didn't want to add like any red hues or anything too different from the color wheel. The non-metallic took quite a bit just because he's covered in it, and I had a lot of fun doing a really simple freehand. It's, to be honest, I don't know what it is. It could be a stylized dragon, it could be like a worm, who knows, maybe one of the gods that the Dwargers believe in, but fun model, and not much more else to say. There's quite a few more variations. There are 4 to 5 with combat weapons, and there are 3 poses of crossbows. I used to own about 8 of the crossbow ones, but I sold them many years ago, so I'll have to hunt down more to add to the little raiding force. There we go. So up next, the last model will be the Gnoll. So I'm glad I saved this model for last, as I feel like he is, I think, the best painted from the raiding force, although it may not seem like it, but I think he was amazing and turned out great. Basically, gnolls are hyena men who are very vicious and brutal in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and I feel like this model captured the essence of it perfectly. He is very tall. I think maybe I should have put him on a 30mm base, but for now, we are going to stick with the 25. And if you look up gnolls for the painting wise, they come in all colors. I've seen beige ones, gray traditional ones, I think white ones as well. So I'm going to paint each of the gnoll miniatures in a different hue, just to give variety to this pack of, hyena men. This model, let's grab him up, looks so cool with the pole arm, his chainmail armor. I added, black to his little hyena nose and his fur around the neck and the ears. A lot of fun adding the glazes to make sure the color on the skin came out the way I wanted to. So my new method also of painting black is I'm getting a little bit lazy. So certain black leather I either highlight with just 2 purples or 2 blues or 2 reds. That's just to give that Oldhammer feel, but also I'm a bit lazy, so hopefully I don't have to put too much effort into certain sections. But I think the skin came out amazing, and the fur, it was a little bit difficult trying not to get everything lost with the model, but I think I managed to do that. I'm happy with the camo green little hat he's wearing. And again, the non-metallic, just very stylized, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And then we have the shield. So these 2 runes, I just googled some D&D runes. I could have maybe cleaned them up a little bit, but trying to paint these guys relatively fast in less than 2 hours. Overall, still happy with it. I think he does look good. Maybe once I finish a lot more of the collection, I might go back and edit a few of the freehands. It's a little bit more difficult than my Warhammer Fantasy armies, as these old models had this giant knob is actually molded to their arms. So I'm restricted by how much I can freehand around, the circle. All of my Night Goblins and other models, like the Tzeentch models, they didn't have this knob, so I had the whole, circle to work with. But with this knob, on this guy, plus the dwarf, I'm a little bit restricted by my movements. But there we go. Here's the first gnoll. Really, really proud of the model. And I want to say there were 9 variations. I can double check, but the Citadel range of Dungeons and Dragons is quite extensive, and you're bound to find, I'd say, a sculpt you like. So there you guys have it. That's the update for, midweek. I'll have another video in the next couple of days, maybe even tomorrow, if I can finish editing it. I hope you guys are enjoying the showcases. And then again, I'm gonna get a little bit busy first week of November, but we'll be having a lot more painting guides and other models to share with you.